back into her bag, I allowed that she was just trying, in her well-meaning but unnecessary way, to be helpful. When she darted a last glance at me before facing frontward again, I think I must have given her one of those throwaway smiles, the kind that isn't supposed to mean anything to normal people. The kind that, unfortunately, did mean something to Francine.
2. Francine. Ollie Tran has a dimple on his left cheek when he smiles. But that isn't why I'm asking him to help me with the plan. There are lots of reasons. Real ones, though some are harder to explain than others. The discussion, however, is not off to a great start. "The deer hunter," I blurt out, because it's the first thing that comes to mind when Ollie looks at me, clearly puzzled. "I want to ask you about the deer hunter." Ollie scrunches his eyebrows together like I'm speaking a foreign language and takes a step back, small enough to remain polite, but big enough to say, "Can you maybe not?" We're standing in front of his locker, which, conveniently, is just a few columns over from mine. The blessing of alphabetical propinquity has always meant that wherever Ollie is, I'm never too far behind. For years, I used to swoon over this, the fact that Tran was close enough to Zhang that sometimes, if a class was small, there could be no one between us at all. But it's been a while since I let myself care about that. "What about the deer hunter?" Ollie asks, even though it seems like he'd rather not hear the answer. "Well, I noticed it made you cry." I think back to that afternoon. Like, kind of a lot. Ollie's face goes pink. "I don't know if it was a lot." "What's your definition of a lot?" "Okay, I'm gonna just go." Ollie points 2 fingers off to the side and scoots away. As I watch him zigzag between the sun-beaten lunch tables, nearly tripping over a hydrangea bush to hasten his escape, it occurs to me that maybe I could have approached this differently. That I hadn't talked to Ollie in so long. I had no idea what to say. We hadn't even interacted at all, really, until the deer hunter. Still, I don't know who else to ask. I need to make the plan happen. The plan requires a boy, and of all the boys in my life, I've known Ollie the longest. Our families, you see, go way back. A long time ago, a lifetime practically, Ollie's dad grew up 2 doors down from my mom and her sisters. This was in Hanoi, where both our families lived for decades before the Vietnam War. If you ask any of them, they'll probably tell you they're Chinese, then turn around and speak to each other in Vietnamese. But that's how they all came to be refugees. After the Americans left, there was another war between Vietnam and China, which meant that anyone Chinese remaining in Hanoi had to hightail it out of there. We ended up here, in the United States, which is where I was born. Ollie, too. And because Wagyu Chinese tend to find each other no matter where they go, whether in North Vietnam or Southern California, his house is only 3 blocks from mine. I've known him since kindergarten, and now we're both juniors at Hargis High. A history that long has to count for something, right? Maybe not. Ollie's halfway across the quad by this point, keys already pulled from his pocket, and if I don't say something else quick, he'll disappear into the parking lot. "Ollie, wait!" I call after him, breaking into a jog. "I just want to talk to you." My voice wavers, and I hate that it does. But a few feet away, Ollie stops. Given how precariously this exchange has proceeded so far, I figure I'd better cut to the chase. "My grandpa has cancer," I say. "We just found out." The news hits the way I expect it to, clumsy and heavy, and Ollie folds a little, like I've jabbed him in the soft part of his stomach. "I'm sorry," he says, in a tone I haven't heard from him in at least 4 years. For some reason, it makes a small ball of sadness lodge in my throat.